We are here at this time, and we thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction for this day. We have been asked by the conduits to, at this time, give a very fun and exciting discourse on information that we understand many of you may be looking forward to. And we are happy to oblige in equal excitement to present this discourse, this information to you at this time. Before we begin, we would like you to understand that all the information that we allow ourselves to share in this interaction is simply that of our perspective, is simply that of our point of view. For all knowledge, for all information, for all of creation itself resides within your very heart, within your very soul, within your very being. So we shall move on now to the understanding of this discourse, which is understanding civilizations beyond your world, past history. Now, the understanding truly is that there is no one set form of history here that we are going to be speaking of in this discourse. The understanding of to what you acknowledge as your past, acknowledge as your distant history, is truly that of histories. And the reason why we say it is histories is because every single being in creation has their own perspective, has their own story to tell, has their own history to tell, which amalgamates this into the understanding of histories. But again, we are giving our perspective of histories that have occurred long, long ago in that understanding. Not to sound cliche, but again, it was a very, 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 very long time ago. The birth of this universe. Many of you give the idea of thinking that there must have been a beginning to this universe. Energetically, no. To the manifestation of what the universe is now, yes. And what we mean by that is that the universe herself has always been. She has always been energy. She has always had this existence. But the existence in itself was manufactured by beings of high divine intelligence, of higher dimensionality, that wanted to create this experience of allowing this universe to be manufactured, to be manifested as a collective consciousness of expression. That is what is so unique about this universe. The pinnacle idea of this universe itself was to create an establishment of free will. This is what is known as a free will universe. And so, the energetic grids formed. The colors, shall we say, were played around with. It went from simple basic colors, from white light to red light to blue light to yellow light to green light, to all of these different lights together in their solidity that mixed and combined and merged together to create patternization. But again, the higher dimensional, shall we say, creators of this universe were in that sense still configuring how this universe should go about. And so the higher dimensionalities themselves were at first created. But again, very much to what you would understand as raw energy. There was no true form of what you would understand in physicality. No planets, no stars, no galaxies. Not at that point, shall we say. And again, this goes beyond the confines of attempting to measure when this was within your understanding of time. All we can say is that it was a very, 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 very long time ago. And so, the higher dimensional creators of this universe began to experiment, began to tinker around with the universe. and created the higher dimensionalities first that anchored into this universe's form of expression. But there wanted to be more to this universe. More councils of light, shall we say, wanted to get into the picture and stating, let's have an ultimate experience. Let's allow ourselves to create fractal patterns. Let's create roots that go out, that expand and create and develop into different types of manifestations. And so other beings from other universes came into this universe and began to, again, configure and tinker around with much of the, shall we say, makeup of the universe, making her pretty, so to speak. And as these other beings from other universes came into this grid, came into this universal matrix, they began to develop amazing experiences that were configured from other universes. This is where we started to get the idea of other dimensions descending down the ranking, shall we say, of higher dimensions. This is where we began to create solid manifestations, solid creations themselves that represented much of the physicality that we see now. As your scientists look out through the great cosmos, through the great beyond, shall we say, with their telescopes and seeing the divinity that this universe holds, this eventually got to the point of creation. With all of these different ideas, with all of these different councils from different universes that came into the fold, that came into the picture and mimicked what they knew from other universes and brought them into this one. This was the birth of the true universe to what you understand now. Galaxies were formed. Galaxies were created. Within those galaxies, stars were forming. Stars were created. Within those stars, planets were evolving. Planets themselves were becoming engineered. Not through the idea of physical beings driving around in spaceships, shall we say, one by one by one by one at a time, manufacturing these worlds. Much of it was from manifested thought. Manifested thought through higher dimensionality sculpted and carved and created much of what you see in this universe now that has been brought into life, that has been brought into existence. And so the creation of this universe was born. And as what you may call your time progressing onwards, the ultimate experiment that we will focus on in this galaxy was the creation of life on those planets that were becoming manufactured. Because all of these other beings that were responsible for creating these planets to sustain life decided this was the plan. Let's go to these galaxies, again, focusing particularly on our galaxy at this point. And let's go into these galaxies and let's create more life. Let's create another form of extension within this universe, to where others can incarnate on these worlds and have this experience, this grand experience to further progress themselves. Now again, understand that souls themselves are that of a continuum of expression. You have been many things. You have even been other universes. That is truly how vast you are. But from the understanding, again, bringing forward the life on the planets. Where did all this life come from, you may ask? How did it get on this planet, or how may it have gotten to other planets? Many other different forms of beings from other universes were brought here into this universe to create it. Now again, as we will speak on later, the whole understanding is that there is a mimicking of patternization to how everything flows from universes to the universe, from the universe to the galaxy, from the galaxy to the stars, from the stars to the planets, from the planets to life itself of the humanity.